It's must-see mixed martial arts. Warriors of UFC 232 on December 29th.
Alright, this is round number 3. We're talking two big title fights, the two main events of this evening. We are talking about Cris Cyborg, the baddest motherfucking woman on the planet. I just swore again on Christmas. My goodness, I am going to hell. Taking on Amanda Nunes, the woman to defeat and send Ronda Rousey into retirement and into the WWE. This is a battle of two savage Brazilians. This is a battle of two bad women. This is a battle of two of the most legitimate power strikers in their respective divisions. Amanda Nunes is the 135-pound Bantamweight champion of the world. Cris Cyborg is the 145-pound champion, Featherweight champion of the world. This fight is being contested at 145 pounds for Cris Cyborg's 145-pound title. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen Cris Cyborg fight, one, do yourself a favor, check out Cris Cyborg's fights, because she is without a doubt one of the women that I have been hyping since her very inception, since the very day that I saw her compete for the very first time. I've said it to myself and to those who would listen that this is a woman that cannot be beaten. This is a woman that will take your heart, your soul, your blood, your guts, your sweat, and everything in between to defeat this woman. And since the day of the talks, if you remember, Ronda Rousey, Cris Cyborg, I laughed at that immensely. Ronda Rousey would have been mauled by Cris Cyborg. That is how serious I am. Cris Cyborg is not a joke. Cris Cyborg is not a one-hit wonder. Cris Cyborg is not the girl that goes for the judo flip and the armbar. Cris Cyborg is the girl that walks around at around 160-something pounds. This is a female, and she cuts down to 145 pounds and barely makes that weight. It is a struggle for her to even make that weight. This woman has been terrorizing her divisions for years. This woman has been undefeated for years. This woman's toughest test came at the likes of a Holly Holm, which has been the toughest test to almost every single fighter out there, and that is an achievement for Holly Holm. Quite frankly, even though this Holly Holm was her toughest test, Cris Cyborg was able to go 5 rounds, something that people laughed and scoffed at the idea that she would never be able to do. And she did that with, I don't want to say ease, but she looked good in doing so. She was relaxed, she was calm, she was never pressing forward and exasperating and using all her energy. Amanda Nunes, though, on the other hand, has gone on to defeat legendary fighters and Miesha Tate to capture this championship belt. She defeated Valentina Shevchenko. She defeated Ronda Rousey, and she went on to defeat another female who is not coming to mind right now. She has been the legitimate 135-pound champion, and she has done so by looking best as she can and looking like a destroyer. She is another one of those females that has the power in her hands and has the submission ability to put anyone to sleep. The fact is, she is now moving up to 145 pounds. She is coming to Cris Cyborg's territory. Will she be able to handle the power of Cris Cyborg? That is a question entirely that we are going to find out. It is a champion versus champion matchup. Now, I have been truly biased on the side of Cris Cyborg leading up to this, and I continue to feel that I do not believe that Amanda Nunes will be able to defeat her. I do think she will give her her test, and she will give her a fight, and she will land some strikes on Cris Cyborg's chin that will have her going, ooh, that hurt. But it will not put Cris Cyborg out. It will have her motivated, hungry, and looking for that kill. This is a fight where, if it goes to decision, it's due to the fact that both were tentative in their striking. This is a fight that should end because someone knocks the other one unconscious or submits them. I do deep down believe that Cris Cyborg is the ultimate female fighter. She's the most well-rounded and well-equipped fighter there is to date, training with some of the best fighters in the world. She trains with Clarissa Shields, boxing heavyweight, boxing champion. She trains with some of the best Muay Thai fighters and even had a competition against one of the very best Muay Thai fighters, in which she even lost and was okay with that loss because she took some of the best that this girl had to offer and she brought it back to her. So Cris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes is going to be a barn burner for barn murders to come. And if this was a main event to almost any event, this would be fantastic just like that. But it's not the main event, because the main event of this one is the rematch to the fight that many people have been talking about, the fight that many people have considered a robbery on Alexander Gustafsson's part, and many people have been waiting to see. Look at that, I went over 5 minutes just talking about Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, but we're going to move on to Jon Jones and Gustafsson. This is part 2, a fight that took place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where Jon Jones defended his championship belt and retained his championship belt against Alexander Gustafsson in a classic 5-round war, and a fight that many have considered one of the best light heavyweight fights of all time. And I happen to agree. It was back and forth until the very end, where you did not know who picked up the victory. It did go to Jon Jones in a split decision. Gustafsson to this day argues that he believes he should have won that fight. Many people do believe that Gustafsson should have won that fight, and the story that came out after this is even crazier. The fact that Jon Jones was partying the night before and on cocaine leading up to this fight. He did not even take this fight seriously. So now this begs the question, how good is Jon Jones, really? But the bigger question now that's coming into this fight is, had Jon Jones been as active as he should have been, and not suspended twice back-to-back and missing almost 2 years of his career, with only having one fight in between each of those years, maybe this would have been a different story. But due to the fact that Jones has not fought since July of 2017, and it is now December 2018, the 29th to be exact, and he is competing for the very first time since then. Gustafsson, same story, has not fought since 2017, and this is his first fight in 2018. He has taken on Jon Jones. We don't know what level both these men are. Gustafsson has been on a tear. He did defeat Glover Teixeira and made that look easy. He put Glover to sleep, something that has not been seen. On the other hand, Gustafsson has also been knocked out by the likes of Anthony Johnson, which put him to sleep. He went to war with DC Daniel Cormier and lost that fight in a very close fight. This is Gustafsson's 3rd attempt at a title. Once to Jon Jones, which he lost a split decision. The other time to Daniel Cormier, which he lost a decision. This is it for Gus. You need to win this fight. You lose this fight, there's probably not going to be any more chances at a championship opportunity. You basically exasperated all your chances at best. Now, with both men having had a long layoff, it's a question of which one is going to look better. Which one is going to have the ring rust? Will they both suffer from ring rust? We saw Jon Jones suffer from a little bit of ring rust when he took on OSP for the interim championship of the world. He did not look as fluid as he normally does, and he looked a bit sluggish. But when he took on Daniel Cormier in the rematch for that championship belt, boy oh boy did he look like the Jon Jones of old. The movement was there, the head kicks were there, and he knocked out Daniel Cormier and made it look easy, like a walk in the park, which is fucking astonishing due to the fact that how good Daniel Cormier is. Alexander Gustafsson, on the other hand, is no bum either. This guy's got the elite level striking. He's now incorporated his ability to lead with an uppercut, which is going to pose problems if Jon Jones wants to take him to the ground, because Gus is going to be able to land the punch. And I didn't even bring up the fact that these guys have almost the same exact reach advantage, same exact height. There is a lot of aspects to take into consideration. And this is where I'm going to make one of the most boldest predictions to date. Jon Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Who is walking out here to victor? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hear it first and first only, and I may be very well be the only person to ever make this prediction, and I could be wrong at the same time. But just simply due to the fact that our activity, that Gustafsson has been in more fights and more battles than Jon Jones has been recently, due to the fact that he has been suspended and dealing with all of this nonsense, I am predicting that Alexander Gustafsson most likely walks out of here the victor. You heard that correctly. I am predicting that Alexander Gustafsson walks out of Inglewood, California as the new UFC light heavyweight champion of the world. Jon Jones will suffer his first loss, and it may come to the very hands of the man who he should have lost to the first time around in many people's minds. That is Alexander Gustafsson. Regardless of whether this fight goes to decision or not, that is dependent on their levels of striking as to where this fight takes place. But at the end of the day, the prediction that I am suggesting, that I am telling you, that I am officially making it my pick right now, I'm making today, as of the recording, Sunday, December the 23rd. From now until then, you may see my pick may change based on whatever footage that comes out with the embedded. And if my pick does change, you will see that on my Instagram page. I will be posting I will be posting my predictions on the Instagram as the fights take place. It may go to Jon Jones, but as of today and as of everything I have seen and everything that I have heard, it is Alexander Gustafsson who I predict will walk out the victory. And I suggest you take a look at the odds of Alexander Gustafsson. They may be pretty good, and he deserves to have those go. As much as I'm going to say he doesn't deserve to be the underdog, he does deserve to be underdog, simply because it will allow us the opportunity to make some incredible money together. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 3 Rounds with Jay. That was this Christmas edition. I hope I didn't take too much time out of your day. I hope you enjoyed everything we discussed, from the nonsense that occurred today on Sunday at 6 p.m. with the event taking place now in California instead of Las Vegas due to Jon Jones' apparent drug test failure or whatever went on, to the breakdown of the entire preliminary and main card, to the breakdown of round number 3 of the 2 big title fights, the 2 major fights of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, please subscribe, like, leave a comment below. As you always know, as I always say, my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter links are at the bottom. I'll see you next year. This was the 2016, this was the 2018 edition, Christmas edition, holiday edition of 3 Rounds with Jay. I will see you next year with a whole new 3 Rounds with Jay, where I will be discussing the aftermath of UFC 232, discussing what's coming up in the new year for mixed martial arts, UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and etc. Do not forget that there will also be a PFL event on December the 31st. My goodness, we have so much going on. On December the 31st, there will be some huge events. I will break down that card hopefully before December the 31st on my Instagram page. With all of that said, have yourselves a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And that was 3 Rounds with Jay. Peace.